Basketball, Lonzo Ball, he just recently announced that he will be coming back to play. Oh my gosh, it's been a lot going on, James. Have you seen him and Stephen A. Austin? They've been going back and forth.
On the internet.
Um, so basically how it started, we all know from last season, Lonzo, he had an injury, injury from last season and he was out. And Stephen A kind of made some remarks about him. Um, well, he got a source saying that he won't be able to play and stuff like that. And Stephen A kind of, you know, comes, kind of he had to say what he had to say.
And Stephen A, he had said, I don't think he will ever be the same. I heard it's hard for him to get up from the sitting position, and I'm really
Yeah.
glad from him.
So basically, he clashed back at Stephen A, going back and forth with him on Twitter. I don't know if you've seen that Twitter. And then he makes a video reacting to Stephen A, basically saying, "Why don't you come to the actual source instead of?" And I was like, man, that was crazy. You don't usually see a lot of NBA players like making a video. Well, we've seen James Harden, but making a video clapping back at somebody, like that. So, um, he's sending a mess. He seemed real confident, James.
Do you think that we're going to see more of these videos like this in the future? Like, is it part of the younger generation? And
Definitely, definitely. This is definitely going to be added to the norm because there's a lot of these players. They feel confident and they have the mind. They're not letting anybody get in the way or any remarks or anything like that. And I think that's good. Honestly, I feel like Stephen A. definitely was wrong in this situation. I feel like he definitely should have just reached out or maybe they had a private conversation about, you know, or he could have just been like, "Hey, man, how you feeling for next season? Are you gonna be back able to play?" Um, but yeah, he set him straight. He said you gotta come to the right source this time. So that kind of goes in my first question, kind of what I was saying. Do you feel like Stephen A was wrong in this situation?
I think Stephen A, he was just doing his job, and his job does include sometimes he puts on a bit of a character where he says inflammatory things about players and teams, but a lot of the times it doesn't really seem like he actually means any harm in the situation. It's part of the media. It's part of being entertaining at the
Yeah.
same time as bringing news. But he was wrong to not talk to Lonzo and just say, "Hey, what's going on?" As you said, why not just reach out? He has the ability to, as a high level journalist, he has
Yeah.
access to, I guess, unlimited access, right? I don't know
Right.
which star he wouldn't be able to like have a small chit chat with. So
Right. Basically, and then they also said that he had a situation with Diggs. Basically going to the wrong source, and I guess him and Diggs was kind of going. Stephon Diggs was kind of going back and forth. I don't know if you heard about that, but it's just he's just going to the wrong sources and stuff like that. I feel like that definitely does bite you when you don't have come to the original source of information. Um, so like based off that video, like how do you view Lonzo? Like after that he made that video, like what do you think?
I thought it was a great video. And honestly, I thought he was maybe just gonna like stand up and sit down once. I wasn't expecting like the, constant just showing the mobility that he has. And he did it on one leg too.
Yeah, yeah,
It,
that's definitely. I like that. I like the energy that he's bringing. He's basically saying, this isn't over for me. I'm still young and I got fuel in the tank and I will be back playing. Um,
he
yeah,
was
it was.
gentleman about it too. I mean, he just said, come to the actual source next time. He didn't say
Yeah,
anything like he didn't insult Stephen A. He didn't say anything about his like journalistic prowess. All he said was,
exactly. He didn't bash him. That's why I respect him. He didn't bash him. He didn't try to, hit under the nail. He came with a positive approach, like, hey man, just come next time, just come to the right source. So that way it's no confusion. I know Stephen A feels silly right now, but like I said, I mean that happens with reporters all the time. You know, you just got to make sure you have the right source. I would say make sure you talk to the player first before you get to speaking about things that may or may not be true. Like, you know, but
Did
yeah.
you follow Ball when he was with the Pelicans?
Yeah, he was with he Pelicans and then the LA Lakers, and now he's with the Chicago Bulls. So if we just look at his stats last year, he had averaged 34 minutes a game. He had 13 points. Um, Lonzo's a pretty good player. I wouldn't say he was just one of the top notch, but he definitely put points on the board. Um, Yeah, so basically my last question and kind of leading into this conversation, do you believe that Lonzo will most definitely play back next season based off the video and you could just kind of read off his confidence and energy? Like, do you feel like he'll be back?
I think so. He says he's going to be back, and he's going to do everything he can to get back on the court. And then just like seeing they had a 22-13 record, the Bulls did, before he was hurt, and he was averaging, yeah, you were saying 13 points and
Yeah,
5.2 pounds. I mean, that those are pretty decent numbers. And then also he was a fantastic perimeter defender. So
yeah.
they were losing some stuff with him out of the lineup, I feel like.
Oh
But
yeah, definitely. Definitely. They definitely they need him and you know, they got Patrick Beverly now, so you know, they need those type of defensive key in players. And those are the best, probably top two perimeter defensive players on their team. So, like I said, I'm rooting for him. I hope he comes back.
if you get the two of them working together at the same time, that would definitely help out, I
Oh
feel.
yeah, definitely help their team out. Definitely. Um, yeah, if he could come, I predict that he'll come back though. I think so. Because I mean you could just kind of see it in the confidence and everything like that. You know, usually like for instance, Zion and stuff like that. It's just certain players they won't stop. You know, if we look at Cam Newton, for example, you know, he still make videos saying he's one of the top quarterbacks and, you know, still playing at different draft, you know, stuff like that. So I think so. Probably not beginning, maybe mid-season, I'll say.
And a person, they know how their body feels. They can respond to the injury. They know what's going on
Yeah,
better than anybody else ever will. You know, the
exactly.
journalists looking from the outside in, like Stephen A, for example, saying he's never going to be the same, saying he's really,
Yeah,
really sad for him. I mean, maybe he should have chose some better words next time and said something
yeah,
along the lines of like, I would love to see him return to form, something along those lines, instead of kind of.
exactly. Because no player wants to hear that they'll never play the same again or anything like that. No player don't wants to hear something like that. So, um, I'm just Stephen A should just be glad he used that positive approach to respond back. You know, because you know we know certain players they'll just go off the roof, you know, and bash you, and they'll just be a whole, you know, it'll be a whole thing.
Will this start a feud between them, or you think they'll be all right?
Nah, I don't think it'll fight a feud. It was just a few comments. You know, I don't feel like Stephen A said anything to really just hit below the belt. I feel like he just put out his opinion, his personal opinion. Um, Yeah, that's and then you can tell by Lonzo he's not tripping off of it. You know, he's coming with that positive energy and approach. So yeah, it's a sweep under the rug. But yeah, you guys let us know, keep us updated on Lonzo and everything like that. But I definitely think he'll be back soon. But enough about the hoops. We're gonna pass it over to James with more football. What we got?